Bob Arum insists that Terence Crawford versus Josh Taylor is the most attractive and lucrative fight for Bud Crawford. We're going to talk about that. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Listen, I don't know how you found my video, but somehow, some way, you made it. You all arrived at the content. Reach one, teach one. Please help others find the content by throwing a like on the video. It's free, it's quick, it's painless, and it takes a few seconds of your time. Now, Bob Arum had some recent quotes, which I will get into. Then I will give you my thoughts at the end of this video. Bob Arum says, and I quote, founder of Top Rank Boxing, Josh Taylor versus Terence Crawford. I think it's more lucrative because of the UK element. You have to understand that Josh Taylor is huge in the UK. So is Crawford. We can do 70,000 seats and probably do 1.5 million, 2 million pay-per-view buys and put it at an hour where we could still do pay-per-view over here in the United States. So I haven't penciled it out completely, but I think it's the most lucrative fight for Terence Crawford, and that would be Josh Taylor. So he says, the fight I would like to see is Terence Crawford, Josh Taylor, two of the fighters, one currently and one previously, who were undisputed in their weight class. End quote. Now, I think this is safe to say what I've been saying is true on the channel. The great Ego Stradamus continues to strike again and reign upon boxing with nothing but the truth and the facts of the matter. Terence Crawford is a sensational fighter. He's one of, if not the best finisher in boxing. And at the end of the day, there's options for him. But I think it's safe to say that Terence Crawford, despite his skill, you got to understand in the world of boxing, skill set is only half the battle. Like G.I. Joe says, knowing is half the battle, right? Skill is also only half the battle. In this modern world of boxing, you have to navigate and align yourself with the team and the promoters and, people you trust, trainer, whoever the situation is, a manager, an advisor. You got to do those right steps. There's a lot of guys who are very talented in terms of ability to box, but they are not superstars. Part of that could be because of the team, the network, the network not putting no dollars behind them, not promoting them, not giving them that push. Because you have to keep in mind, Terence Crawford, there's no one that I've ever seen that denies his prowess as a fighter and his skills, which means if the network and his former promoter, because it looks like he's now entering free agency, put the ample time and energy behind him, Crawford would have no choice but to grow because he's exciting to watch. He's smart. He's ambidextrous. He can knock you out. He has power in both hands. He's a multi-divisional champion. He's clean cut, right? He's, like I said earlier, one of boxing's best finishers. So this would be the recipe for success. And that hasn't been the case for Terence Crawford. Some will blame his personality, but there's a lot of guys. Canelo, if we're really being honest, Canelo doesn't have this charismatic Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather, over the top, type of extroverted personality either. So it's not just the personality. To me, it's what I've been saying on the channel. I think that ESPN, they don't value the black dollar the same in Top Rank, and they haven't made a priority of Terence Crawford because Terence Crawford is clearly the goods. We've seen ESPN and Top Rank promote fighters who, in my opinion, are good, but aren't as good as Terence Crawford, aren't as hard to beat as Terence Crawford, yet and still they get the red carpet treatment. I think Terence Crawford is harder to beat than Tyson Fury and Vasyl Lomachenko, right? But you see Tyson Fury, he promotes himself, that's one thing, but he hasn't failed to receive a lot of promotion from ESPN and Top Rank. Everybody's laughing on every time ESPN, they'll bring Tyson Fury on. Everybody's laughing at his jokes, favorable commentary, etc. But Terence Crawford hasn't been the same star build, and that's the point I'm making. And now you see part of the reason why the team, the company you keep, Terence Crawford, people are screaming for him to fight Errol Spence, and people are, especially old media, they're trying so hard to make it look like Errol Spence is afraid or ducking. Listen, win, lose, or draw, it's a great fight. Either guy, in my opinion, has a chance to win. It's a true 50-50 fight. I don't know what's up with Errol Spence's eye. You know, they said he's allowed to resume training, so that's good for him. But he hasn't competed. So, the guy has been through a couple different things, from a vicious car accident that almost claimed his life to the retina tear, which, maybe at the end of the day is connected. I don't know. But at the end of the day, assuming both fighters are at their best and, healthy, then I would say it's a great fight for boxing, and it's a 50-50 fight. But you have Terence Crawford's former promoter up until last fight with Sean Porter, and he continues to degrade Terence Crawford's brand. Bob Arum just did a recent interview with Barbershop Conversations, and he said that Terence Crawford keeps losing him money no matter what. He said every fight he's lost money. That doesn't really benefit Terence Crawford. And Bob Arum has a habit of this. When you leave him, he doesn't really typically say anything good about you, or at least for some time. It's almost like he's begrudged, like he has this huge grudge against you, and he does anything he can to try to lessen or throw salt on your brand or shade you. We've seen it with Andy Ruiz. The whole time Top Rank had Andy Ruiz, he was never really a star. They gave him one opportunity with Joseph Parker, put it in Joseph Parker's backyard, and then I thought Andy Ruiz won the fight, but they said he lost, and then Top Rank put him on the shelf for a year and a half, right? You see guys like Mikey Garcia. Bob Arum has said Lomachenko would destroy Mikey Garcia, which I don't believe would have been the case at 135 if it would have happened when it was supposed to happen, etc. So Mikey Garcia, after he left, Bob Arum never said anything good. And when Terence Crawford was on his last fight, especially to now that he's left, you see Bob Arum doing the same thing to Terence Crawford and saying, I'm losing money. Whether it's true or not, it looks petty, And then now he's claiming that the biggest fight is not the fight that fans are talking about the most, which is Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. It's Josh Taylor. So the point I'm making is, you really want me to believe that it was Al Heyman and PBC and Errol Spence that was the real problem, when old media is pushing this narrative that because they have this anti-PBC, so they constantly go against Deontay Wilder, Gervonta Davis, the Charlo brothers, Errol Spence, etc. And you want me to believe that the problem wasn't the business side and the team that Terence Crawford had, when you see it's still a problem, because Bob Arum is telling you the Errol Spence fight is cool and it's big, but it's not as big as 70,000 fans in the UK with Josh Taylor. That sounds like a setup. Terence Crawford was undisputed before Josh Taylor. Why should he have to fight in another man's backyard who's only following in the footsteps and the blueprint that Terence Crawford had already laid out? I was at that fight when he became undisputed with Ndongo. Now, you could argue Josh Taylor had tougher names to become undisputed, but that's not Terence Crawford's fault, who was in his division at the time. He just went through everybody that he could in that given division at that time. Josh Taylor came in a time where I would say there are better names like Regis Prograis and Jose Ramirez, but truth be told, I would have favored Crawford versus either of those guys at 140 as well, but that's neither here nor there. But to be honest, you have Bob Arum, who is saying the Errol Spence fight ain't even the biggest one, 70,000 UK fans. So this is becoming really weird to me in the world of boxing, that you have guys, especially African American fighters, but nonetheless American fighters, and you have American broadcasters and promoters who are telling you these American stars need to go to other countries in order to make money and be lucrative. So Bob Arum has said constantly, for anyone who listened, he could have bought a house with the money he's losing on Terence Crawford. He keeps reiterating the fact that he's losing money with Terence Crawford, but now he's telling you Crawford has to go. Previously, he said Africa. He's telling you that Crawford could only make money in these obscure locations that aren't necessarily the biggest hotbed, which I think is cap. I think it's all how you promote, because Floyd Mayweather showed you that this is all cap and it makes no sense. If you have the right ingredients, skills, persona, marketing, a platform, you can become a star in America. Conor McGregor didn't become a global star in Ireland. It was when he came and assimilated in America and started really acting like American, walking out to Notorious B.I.G. and wearing mink coats and trash talking. He just has an accent while doing it. Who the fuck is that? You know, but he assimilated. And when in Rome, do as Romans do. And Conor McGregor, he became a big star. Floyd Mayweather, who is American, became a big star, and he stayed in Las Vegas. So it's tried and true that America is the land of opportunity. And you got stars like LeBron James, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson. America is the greatest nation for producing these monumental stars, right? The Chris Browns and Ushers and Prince, they all came from American cities, right? Justin Timberlake from Memphis, Tennessee. But in boxing, only in boxing, people tell you that you can't, if you're especially black fighters, you can't become an American star unless you go to the UK and give the enemy the home court advantage when the enemy is just doing what you've already done, i.e. Terence Crawford. So to me, to be honest, it doesn't look like Terence Crawford has ever really been a priority for a top rank, the same way as Lomachenko, maybe even Teofimo and Tyson Fury, Manny Pacquiao when he was there, etc. And this is the biggest hindrance. This is why Errol Spence said #blame Bob when he got the Pacquiao fight, although it didn't happen because he had the retina tear, as I mentioned earlier. So I think most of Crawford's not getting the fight woes are because of the company he keeps and who he's signed to. I really believe that. I've always said that, and you see the results. Your company and network has to put the same amount of energy. Like, look at Tyson Fury. They got him with an American star, Deontay Wilder, and made great promotions, like where they would actually promote. Now they're talking about him fighting Joshua or Dillian White, but Terence Crawford, as great as he is a fighter, he can't seem to get no type of fights, like even Virgil Ortiz or something that would gain respect for fans. None of these fights are coming into the fold for Terence Crawford. Again, now you're hearing Bob Arum say that Josh Taylor is the biggest fight when fans are screaming something else. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. The anti-PBC crowd can't say Errol Spence is ducking, but then Crawford's own promoter up until the Sean Porter fight is saying the Spence fight ain't even the biggest fight. So you know what the problem is. Let me know how I did in this video. Subscribe to the channel if you like it. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe to the next videos. Ego signing off. And I'm out. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.